Today, I want to take a few minutes to talk about why I think the North Face Surge backpack is one of the best backpacks you can use for everyday carry when you're travelling. Now, I've had this backpack for almost 10 years now. I think this is the first edition Surge. They've updated this bag now. With the update, you've lost this front handle, which is a shame because often, if I have this packed and in the car, I will often pick it up by this way. However, the new version does still have the handle on the top. But for me, I've had this bag for 10 years, almost 10 years. I use this every day. I've travelled hundreds of thousands of miles with this. I used this when I was travelling back and forward from the UK to Qatar, the UK to Taiwan, the UK to Mexico, the UK to Guyana, the UK to the United States, and all the times that I come over here to Europe. And it really has served me well. And today, I'm going to explain how all this is carried in this for when I'm travelling. And I'll show you, I'll pack it to show you that it fits. With this bag, it has the handle in the front and it has the handle on the top. The bag itself is a 31 litre backpack, and you really do, you maximise the space out of it. On the outer edge, it has these two pockets here. I mean, they're ideally meant for water bottles, but I can fit my Bose headphone case in here, so I'm travelling on and off of the flight, I can slip that in there, so when I get to my seat, I just kind of slip it out. It has the handles, the carrying straps here. They come with the loops, so if you're carrying like a camel pack, for instance, in the back there, it does have loops for the straw to sit on. It's got a couple of buckles across the front, so when you're wearing, you can fasten them. As such, this also does have, if you have one of these bags, have a look at this because a lot of people don't realise they're there. It does have a whistle on it. It's a very loud whistle. It will get the attention of someone if you're out kind of hiking or whatever. And then it has these waist straps at the bottom for fastening around the waist. To be honest, I don't really use these. I try and kind of fold these out the way, but they're there anyway. The back of the bag, it has the North Face flex vent system, and it has these nice pads, and it's got a bit of a rigid back. So this really is comfortable when you're carrying some weight and you are walking. I find it quite a comfortable bag to wear. My only concern with this bag is when it's full, these zips here on the front, they are prone to forcing themselves open. But I believe the North Face have rectified that on the updated model. However, on this one, if my bag's full, these do burst. Well, they don't burst open, but they kind of force themselves open. So in the front, I'll only keep, you'll see over here, I have an everyday carry shopping bag, I have a couple of packs of tissues, and I have a bag of napkins and cutlery when I'm travelling. They live in these zips here because I don't want to put anything here that I want to lose. The first part here, you can see it's very spacious, so you know you could put a waterproof jacket in there if you wanted. Whereas this side here, it is fleece lined, so anything that you want to keep a bit protected would easily go into there. On the front, at the top, there's a small sunglasses pouch, and again this is fleece lined. I use that for storing things like my passport, my Seaman's discharge book. They will go in there, but it is designed for sunglasses. And then this part opens here and folds down, and you can see it has the everyday kind of mesh pockets for putting things like your phone in, little notebooks, pens, etc. In there's a zip compartment. It has the hook for hooking keys on. I keep my keys in there for things like my lock-up, my house, etc. there and there. Again, you can also put a notebook or something there if you do wish. The pack itself is fastened by these two buckles on the side, which does keep the bag quite secure, especially if the zips are down here. I find if I have it fastened and the zips down there, you know, it's just less tempting for someone to open the bag up. The main compartment, when you open this, it's absolutely huge. I'll show you in a second that all this fits in there, and it's quite comfortable. And then inside the main compartment there's another zipped section, and again you can put a little notebook in here, or you know, if you want to put some cash or coins or something, they'll fit in there. And then on the rear of the bag there is a laptop compartment. This is designed to comfortably fit a 15-inch laptop. However, I do carry a 16-inch laptop with me, and it does fit in here and it closes fine. And I carry that at the same time that I carry my MacBook Pro. And then there is a separate compartment here for a tablet. I sometimes do put my iPad in there, but I'll often put my iPad in a travel case, and then it goes into the main compartment. So in there, I've got some documentation that I take when I travel, and I've always got a book that I'm reading. I'll slot the book in there as well. In the rear of the bag, I generally keep my laptops. Now, I am an Apple fanboy, he says, holding an HP ProBook. I am an Apple fanboy. I'm heavily tied into the Apple ecosystem. I've got a MacBook Pro, I've got an iPad Pro, I have Pro Max iPhones, so I am invested. However, I also do carry a laptop with me. Now this one, I've only had since January. I just find sometimes with the job I'm doing, I do consultation in the marine construction industry, and I'm working out in Europe, and sometimes I use the laptop for the office. This is the G10 HP 16-inch Pro notebook. Look, it fits in comfortably here. They say this is for 15-inch laptops. That's a 16-inch, and it's fitting there quite easy. The next thing I store in here, this is my MacBook Pro. It is the 2020 model, the i7 Intel, I believe. It is due for an upgrade, but for me, I bring this because this is what I do all my editing on. It's just flawless for me, so this works. And I store the MacBook Pro in one of these neoprene sleeves. Just gives it a little bit more protection, and it's easier for kind of putting in and out of the bag. The next thing that I put in the back of this bag, I always have some kind of documentation for travelling. Now, I'm currently travelling between the UK and the Netherlands. I'm doing some work here in the Netherlands and in Belgium, and the Dutch authorities, they always ask for registration paperwork. So this was my registration paperwork. When Brexit happened, we all had to have these numbers to prove that we were kind of frontier workers and we were travelling back and forward. However, in the last couple of years, I've never been asked for that. And then I also have kind of this large notebook, if you like. It's a bit wrecked. I'll put all my kind of YouTube video ideas into here, and then that also just lives in the back of there. I do a lot of writing. I always have moleskin A5 diaries with me, and I use these for various things. This one for doing the consultation. Look, there's all my quarantine stickers from Taiwan. That is something I do not wish to ever have to do again. When I travelled to Taiwan, when COVID was in its infancy, we were having to quarantine in a hotel for 14 days, and it wasn't pleasant. So that's my kind of badge of honour reminder of the times that I had to quarantine for 14 days in a hotel in Taiwan. So this one, I generally use this for the consultant side. So this is my marine construction notebook. So anything related to that goes in this one. So these slot in the back. And then I'm always reading. Just now I'm reading the YouTube Secrets 2nd edition book by Sean Cannell. Brilliant book. If you're thinking of starting a YouTube channel, it's really worth having a look at that book. It's got some good insights. Moving on into the main compartment now. The first thing I always put in this bag and I travel with, and it's almost forgotten about, is I always carry a spare t-shirt, spare pair of socks, and a spare pair of underpants. And also wrapped in here, I have a disposable toothbrush. When I'm flying long haul, sometimes you'll fly 10 hours on a flight, 11, 12 hours. When you get to the other end, there's nothing worse than just feeling that kind of grubby way from being on a flight. I have the Amex Platinum chargeback card. This grants me access to the Centurion lounges. So when I go to the Centurion lounges, I like to go and have a shower. I've got a spare t-shirt, some underwear in there, and a toothbrush. That allows me to at least just freshen up a little bit. You know, the toothbrush is just typically the ones that you get in either hotels or on flights when you're traveling. So I always have a spare one of those. I wrap that with some socks and pants, inside a t-shirt, and then I just keep that in a plastic clear bag, and that then lives at the bottom of the bag. So that's in there now, and that's done. And then I carry my iPad in this kind of case here. I'm currently using 2019 MacBook Pro. This is due for an upgrade. It's starting to get a little bit kind of slow now, but I do use it, and I use it with the Apple Pencil. This is not the magnetic one, so when I upgrade, I probably will upgrade to the magnetic pencil and the new iPad Pro. I use this for sketching out ideas for the t-shirt designs I want to do, but I'm not an artist, so I sketch out a rough idea, I send that to the designers, and that's what they use. That's what I use this for. So yeah, 2019 iPad Pro with the iPad Pencil. I generally use Procreate. It's a fantastic program. It allows me to sketch out ideas which I can then send to the designer and get them then professionally designed, if you like. So the iPad Pro with the pencil, that lives in there, goes into the bag. And then I travel, I have the Bose headphones. Now these ones are the QC35s. They're absolutely fantastic headphones. They're noise cancelling, and when you put them on and put the noise cancelling on, it really does cancel out a lot of background noise. When I'm flying long haul flights, these are perfect. The ear cups are comfortable, even on a 10, 11 or 12 hour flight, they're still comfortable. They just block out that kind of hum you get on aircrafts, and the battery life is brilliant. If I charge this to 100%, I'll put it on and I'll wear them for a full 10, 11 or 12 hour flight. When I get to the other end, or when I get off the flight, I generally still have 80% battery, sometimes 70%, depending on the flight. So I keep these in this case here, and then what I also have is the cable for them. So if I'm on a flight, I can plug into the entertainment system. I used to carry it, but I've not needed it in a few years. But I have the kind of adapter to allow you to plug a single headphone, a single jack into the double prong jacks. We used to get these on flights where you had to have the double prongs. Now I find that the single prong works and I don't need this anymore, but it's there anyway. And then I always have an eye mask as a blackout, because there's nothing worse if you're flying and it is bright, people have lights on, and you want to try and sleep, so I have an eye mask. And I keep that in with the headphone case as well. The Bose. This, I don't always take with me. It depends when I'm traveling and how long I'm traveling for. But if I'm traveling long haul, I generally will take this with me. When I'm working overseas, I generally need to have a couple of pieces of documentation with me, and that is an international driving permit, a yellow fever booklet to prove that I've been vaccinated for yellow fever, and then depending on the countries that I'm working in, when I was in Taiwan, I had to have a resident card, and I was working at the port, so I had to have my port access card, otherwise they wouldn't let me into the port of the country. So these just live, or lived in there. I don't actually need these now because I've not been in Taiwan for a couple of years, which is probably how long ago it's been since I used this. My international driver's permit and my yellow fever booklet, I also just keep in a little clear bag, just keep them together. And they just get folded away into the back of there. If anyone's interested in what this is, it's an 11 passport case. It's great, it's got these little elastic bits so you can hook cables into if you want to take a phone charge cable on the flight. It's got a little pouch at the top, so should you want to keep like a key or some coins, it fits in there. And then the general idea is my passport and my Siemens book will go into here. That gets zipped up and then slid into the bag. I need to travel with this. This is my Siemens discharge book. If you work at sea or work on ships and vessels, etc., you have to have proof that you've been traveling to go to a vessel. So these are just some of the stamps from the last couple of years from being on vessels. Then my passport, it's very, very worn. I'm actually started to run out of pages now. It's just getting quite ridiculous with all the travel and visas and yeah. I think soon I'm going to have, well, I am going to have to order a new passport. So they'll live in there, but my passport generally, once I'm kind of traveling, I take that out, I put that into my soft shell, which I'll show you in a second. I also then have this, it's another cable management system. When I'm flying, this is great. I can put, thin things in the back there, so a key or something, I don't know. But it's got a zip compartment on the back. Then on the front, I always take just a single cable for charging my phone. They plug into the in-flight entertainment systems and then weave them into here. That then goes into the seat in front if you're sitting with the seat in front of you, or if you're flying business class or first class, it'll just slot down into the natural gap there without losing your cables. Again, when I'm traveling back and forth from Europe, I don't generally use these, but I do on long haul flights because they're perfect for that. In the front section of the bags, I carry a couple of packs of disposable tissues, and I'll have a couple of packs of wet wipes. They're handy to have in there. You never know when you're going to need a pack of tissues, and I have been in situations where I've gone to the bathroom after getting off a flight and there's been no toilet paper, so I always have them in my bag. And then on the other side, I always have a disposable shopping bag with me. This one's from Churari when I was in Mexico. It's a soft, light canvas, but it folds up and just locks away in the front of the pouch there. And then I also have a bag of just napkins and disposable cutlery. I've also travelled and I've gone to order some food. You're given your food, there's no napkins, there's no cutlery. So I always have a couple of spares just in the front. When I'm travelling, I always have a soft shell jacket with me. I find these are perfect for travelling. I find they're warm, but not too warm. They're lightweight, so they don't take up too much space. I find this soft shell is really nice. It's a Columbia. It has a couple of pockets on the side, which they're quite roomy. I've put a soft beanie hat in there before. I've had gloves in this pocket. They have the Velcro wrist fasteners so you can adjust to your wrist. But the good thing for me is I have this zip on the side, which I like, and from there I can pull out my passport when I get to the desk, and then when I'm finished with it, passport back into the... Once I'm into the main terminal and ready to board the flight, I just fold the jacket away and it fits in the top of the bag. Then in the bag, I have the charger for my HP notebook, but because I purchased it in Europe, I need to have an adapter plug for it to work in the UK. And I also carry with me a UK to EU adapter plug, so I can use my other devices when I'm here. This will generally get squeezed down into the side of this bag. And then the pouch in the main compartment. In there, I keep a little notebook, a couple of pens, I carry a spare pair of laces. Trust me, if you've ever been travelling and your laces snap, you wish you have a spare pair of laces with you. So I always take spare laces with me. I then have a couple of these little travel kind of zip-up pouches. I can put my MacBook Pro charger in here. I can fit my iPhone charger in there. Or sorry, my iPad charger, my iPhone charger. They go in here. These adapter plugs, I also keep. I then have another one of these pouches. I have a couple of 1 terabyte external hard drives. I use these for backing up any editing that I've done. Now, I edit off of the Samsung, this is the T7 SSD solid state drive. I find these absolutely amazing to work with. They're fast, USB-C, so it just plugs straight into my MacBook. Now, I know people will tell you, do not edit off these. I edit off this. It works for me. What I do is, when I film these YouTube videos, I put all the footage onto here. I then create my folder for my edit, and then I have 3 folders. I have what's called a raw folder, so all the footage straight from the camera into the raw folder. I have a working folder, so then any of the clips that I want to use get put into there, and they're the clips that I edit from. So I then also have a backup copy of the original, and then I have my output folder. So when the project is finished, I then export the file into the output folder, and that's what I use to post on YouTube. And then I back these up onto 2 separate 1 terabyte hard drives, and that way I have the footage on 3 drives, so should one of them fail, I've then got it back. So this is generally my hard drive carry case, and the cables for such will go in there. Also into there, I have 2 spare chargers, cables for charging. One charges the Bose headphones, and the other one charges this power bank. I've had this for absolute years. It's quite hefty, but the charger in there, I've plugged in before 2 USB cables and charged iPhones at the same time. It's got the charging point here. It's also got a little torch in the front, which won't go off now. These are amazing bits of kit. I can charge 2 iPhones from dead to fully charged, and this will still hold a charge to do it again and again. And then when it's done, I charge it overnight. Generally before I travel, I charge it overnight, so I've got a full charge for traveling. So that lives in here, and then the cables, that then lives at the back. If I move on to the front pouch now, in the kind of section that we have here, I carry some business cards. This is my Macintosh gin cards, because often when I go abroad somewhere, I do like to engage conversation about Macintosh gin, because we are trying to export, and certainly here in Europe, in the Netherlands and Belgium, there's a lot of bars that I go to, and it's nice to kind of strike up the conversation, give them the business card, let them check out our socials, and then come back and deliver a sample for them later with the hope that we can maybe get stocked. So they're always in here. I then also carry this Swiss card. You'll all remember Swiss Army knives. This is kind of similar but in a credit card. Has a little pair of scissors. It has the letter opener, magnifying glass, there's a ruler across the top. It has a little pair of tweezers. This is actually a ballpoint pen. And then this is a screwdriver with different heads, and does work, it works a treat. And then it also has, it's a little light in the front. Yeah, these are great pieces of kit. They're made by people that made the Swiss Army knives. It's a Swiss card. This is the Swiss card light, and again that also just slots in the back of there. I'm not carrying an illegal blade, but I have something handy on me if I need to. If I'm traveling long haul and I think there might be an issue with that, then I just put it into my carry-on. I then also have a couple of bags of coins. They're just loose change. I have euros for travelling here to the Netherlands. I have pounds for going back home to the UK. If I'm travelling to the US, I have some US coins, etc. And they'll just live in a little kind of pouch there. I have this is the card that I need for logging into my online banking. It's one of these identification machines. You type a code in and it gives you this. So this always just lives in there as well. I have some paracetamol and some antihistamines. I've travelled before, I've had a long flight, I've got to the hotel, I then went to sleep, I've woken up in the middle of the night with my face just dripping of snot, because it turns out I'm sleeping on feather pillows. I'm allergic to feathers, so I do carry some antihistamines, and if I do sleep on a feather pillow, it also just gives me a banging headache, so I have some paracetamol. I have some lip gloss, and that lives in this front pouch here. I have an AirTag. I've never been separated from this bag, but it's just habit. I have AirTags in all my luggage cases, so I thought why not have one in here as well, and that way if I do get separated from the bag, I know what it is. I've been lucky, but I have heard of people taking other people's bags out of the overhead compartments in planes, so got an AirTag. I then have these two little SanDisk cases. They're absolutely fantastic. When I used to buy CF memory cards, they would come as standard with the cards, so they're great for storing cards in. But I find I keep my cards, now my SD cards for shooting on this, they'll just slot into there. I have the card reader, that also slots into here. And then on the other side, I have a lightning to headphone jack. Obviously once AirPods came out and on Bates and Bowes with the wireless headphones, we didn't need these anymore. But I still carry it just on the off chance that the Bluetooth doesn't work and I can then at least plug my headphones into my phone or my iPad. And then I have this is a brilliant SanDisk USB flash drive, but it's a lightning connection, so it fits into the iPhones and it fits into the iPad, the older version maybe. This fits into my iPhone 12, my iPhone 13. And it then allows me to transfer files from the phone into computers, etc. So it's got a lightning. To be honest, I never use this now because if there's anything I need to transfer from the phone, I just use the AirDrop feature. So that's one case. And then in this one, I have a dongle for a mouse, which I've actually forgotten with me, but I do take a Bluetooth mouse. I'm working in the office, I can use that. That's the dongle. I then have a couple of flash drives. I have these small kind of tiny ones that don't really get in the way. And with these, I put a lot of files. So I have Macintosh Gin files, I have Bowie and Mac files, and then I have the consultant files from the marine construction. They'll go on those, and it depends what work I'm doing, they'll get swapped in or swapped out. And then they also get backed up onto the external hard drives. And then I just have a couple of loose flash drives, just kind of generic things that I might need or not need in the future. My Nikon training lanyards from a time long ago. They then live in that slot there in front. I also then have the USB reader because my MacBook Pro only has USB-C slots or Thunderbolt slots, whatever they're called, but I can put the USB drive into there and straight into. I then have, I don't know why I still have these, but I have some face masks. Again, this is just legacy from when COVID was around and we were still traveling for work, but you had to have masks at the airport. And again, with these ones, I generally keep these in the back, so they're out the way because I'm not going to need them. And in fact, I don't know why I actually put them back in the bag because they're not required. So, and then in the front pouch, I have a little kind of tiny notebook, blank piece of paper, and 2 pens because it's always handy to have a pen and a bit of paper. Yeah, it's great, we've got our phones, we can put notes down, but sometimes I like to just write things down, so they'll live in there. I then always carry a bottle with me so I can fill it up with water, and that just slips right into the side of the pouch there. And then I secure that in place, because there's nothing worse than having a water bottle in your bag. You're late for the gate because security's been an age, you're having to run, and then your water bottle's flying. So I always secure that in. I then have 2 iPhones with me. I have the iPhone 12 Pro Max and have the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Now, this one, the 12 Pro Max, I've not used in about 6 months. I always have a second phone, so when I travel to foreign countries, I can put a local SIM card in. So when I was traveling and working in Taiwan, Qatar, Mexico, Guyana, I would have local SIM cards. They would go in there, and it then meant that I still had my UK number on another phone that I could use WhatsApp. However, here in the Netherlands, my tariff, my UK data is still valid. So I'm only using the one phone. I do have a phone case for it, one of the mag cases, but I never use this anymore. It's got a couple of cards in there. It's got my British Airways Amex card. This is a good card to have. I'm currently using that to try and build up enough points to claim a companion voucher, so that when me and my wife travel to the States for business meetings and such like, we can cut down the cost. So that's what that's been used for. So this case, I never use it on the phone, so that also lives in there. And then the iPhone 12, that also lives in there because I don't use it. The iPhone 13, I'm going to get either the power bank that fits on there or the wallet that fits on there, and then this is all I kind of carry now. The screen protector is a bit damaged because I keep banging it and dropping it. That fits in my pocket quite nicely. I am due an upgrade. I was going to get the iPhone 15, but with the iPhone 16 now coming out in September, I think I'll wait and get the iPhone 16. And then I have this little Toomey wallet. It's absolutely fantastic. It has the cards that I need in there. So it has my Amex Platinum card, it's got my driving license, and then a couple of spare cards. And then I always put the hotel key in the back. So that then just slots into my pocket. It's perfect. When I'm traveling to and from the office, I get back to the hotel, I pull that out, dink dink, it opens the door for me. And then I always have some chewing gum, some mints. They fit into that front pouch there. And there you have it. The North Face Surge 31 litre backpack, which I think is the perfect day pack for travelling with everyday carry. And I put it on. See the straps here. I can tighten these up. It's on the back, it's comfortable. Yes, it's a little bit heavy, but I do have a 16-inch laptop, a 14-inch or 13-inch maybe MacBook Pro. I have a 10.5-inch iPad Pro. I've got an iPhone Pro Max in there. I've got Bose headphones. I've got chargers. I've got a water bottle. I've got my jacket. I've got some notebooks, some moleskin notebooks. I've got a book that I'm reading. It all fits in here, quite the thing. It's comfortable. And this has done me for 10 years. That is my thoughts on why I think the 30 litre Surge backpack by the North Face is the best day pack that you can buy for travelling, carrying everyday carry.